Colorado head coach JR Payne and student athletes Quay and Jaylyn Sherrod. JR, if you could start us off with an opening statement, then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, I guess just thank you all for having us here at Pac-12 Media Day. It's been an awesome day. We always love this event that the Pac-12 puts on because, I mean, we're surrounded by excellence all day long. You know, great coaches, great media, great players. You know, and everybody really has a vision of how to navigate, you know, what is murderer's row of the Pac-12 conference. So we love it, though, and it's been an awesome day. We're excited for our season.
All right, with that, we'll open it up. Just a reminder, please state your name and affiliation for your question. We'll start in the front left here with Michelle.
Hi, Michelle, Pac12.com. JR, I put you guys in a group with Utah, Washington State, programs that really have made in the past couple of years a big jump, gotten back into the tournament for the first time in a long time, changed sort of the trajectory of the program. So how does that coming into this season, like what's changed? What in terms of expectation, internal, external, how do you guys look at the way you've been able to elevate the program and what happens next?
Well, I would say we're very proud of the amount of work we've put in, you know, to elevate the program. And I would agree with you. I mean, I think the three teams you named are programs that are definitely have worked hard to get to where we are. But we're excited about this season. I mean, we definitely have a different mindset in that last year. I mean, everybody wants to go to the Final Four, right? Everyone wants to win a national championship. But our goal was to get to the NCAA tournament. It hadn't been done in almost a decade in Boulder. And so that was our goal. I think when we got there and we didn't go as deep as we wanted to in the NCAA tournament, the goal quickly changed, you know, to we want to go deeper into the NCAA tournament. And I think these guys, you know, have led the charge in that we're working every day to be better than we were a year ago to make sure that that is not just a dream, but is a reality for us in March.
We'll go to Kevin over there on the right and then back here to Matthew in the front.
Yeah, Kevin Dan of Pac-12 Networks. I wanted to follow up on that question because it has been since Seal Berry was the head coach that Colorado has been able to produce at least back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. And yet, just how important is it to you know, be a program that is kind of building tournament after tournament bids, and what makes you confident about this group that they can continue the success that they had last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've built a culture to where every single day we're pushing each other to be great. I mean, I don't think, you know, teams that do well in March, they're not great just in March. They're great in August. They're great in September. They're great in October. They push each other in that way. Our team does a really good job of that, led by our upperclassmen, you know, in particular Jaylyn, who's been with us for 4 years now, sets an incredible standard of work ethic, competitive spirit, and just a drive to be great. And I think that, you know, is pretty firmly established in our program. And I would say that's why, you know, we feel that we can do that this year.
Hi, Matthew Walter from The Next. This is for both coach and then it'll shift over to for Quay. Talking about trying to replace what Maya did for you, not just offensively, but just sort of all around, defensively, rebounding. How do you try to replace someone like that? And then when it goes over to Quay, with Maya gone, with Peanut gone, do you see your role sort of increasing and maybe starting now instead of being that sixth player that you were last year?
Yeah, I think anytime you lose great seniors, whether it's 1, 3, 4, 5, there's a void, you know, that's left on the team, whether that's vocal presence, whether that's point production, whether that's, you know, someone that talks in a huddle, you know, things like that. What I love most about this year's team is that everyone is embracing the challenge of being better, you know, so whether that's, I mean, Jaylyn's been a great player all 4 years, you know, but really challenging her to speak more, like the team needs to hear your voice more, you know, things like that. She's embracing that. And every single player on our team is, no one's trying to be Peanut. No one's trying to be Maya. Everyone is trying to be a better version of who they are and what they were, you know. And so I think when we're able to do that, it creates a very cohesive group of players that are just trying to be great. And I think that's how you fill the void of you know, graduating seniors.
Yeah, like Jay said, just trying to be better than I was from last year, and at every standpoint, a better leader, better in myself. Not really looking at what we've lost, but how we can be better from it and build off what they have taught us with their years being here.
Go to Pat next on the right in the middle.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. For the players, kind of along the lines of those first couple questions, reaching the NCAA tournament, what has that done in the locker room, in your workouts, as far as just raising the bar of expectations and maybe accountability within your program?
I would say that reaching a tournament just like set the foundation, but it made all of us hungry to get back there, and not just get back there, but actually advance deeper, like Coach Jay said. And I think coming from last season, like I said, I feel like it was just a foundation. It was just a start of where we think we can go. So this is something that we plan to continue throughout this season as well.
And over here in the middle on the left.
And with the Pac-12 Network's welcome, question for all of you. JR, you can start with, it's an interesting blend of really good veterans coming back and then some freshmen as well. Can you help us understand the dynamics coaching the veterans with the integration of the freshmen, and then veterans up there on the stage? Quay, you can go to both you guys about bringing the freshmen along and them understanding the importance of impacting your team and not waiting.
Yeah, it's always an interesting, especially now with the transfer portal, things are even more interesting, you know, in the spring and going into summer, the dynamics of teams and how they shape and shift. I think the strength of our team is in our veterans, you know, as most ball clubs are, but we have some really good veterans, you know, that have played a lot in the Pac-12, had a tremendous amount of success individually and collectively in the Pac-12, and that's the group that we will rely on. You know, now we have a couple new players that we think are going to have a big impact on our team. They fill voids that we needed, you know, and they're going to be really important pieces to our puzzle this year. But we're going to rely on these guys. You know, Kendall Wetta, Tamia Sadler, Frida Foreman. I mean, we have a lot of really good players back. I love that our upperclassmen this summer took a lot of pride in trying to really get to know our new players, take them out to lunch, spend time with them. Who are you? You know, learning those types of things as a way to kind of embrace and welcome them into our team.
We'll go back to Pat here in the middle on the right, and then Cindy after him.
Pat Rooney, Daily Camera. JR, you haven't had to deal with a lot of staff turnover during your time, but you had a chance this year to bring in Shelly Sheets, obviously a CU legend. What has she kind of brought to the program and having that different voice in the mix this year?
Yeah, most people know Shelly Sheets. In Boulder, she's just known as the GOAT. You know, she's one of the best players to ever wear a Colorado uniform. And we've been trying to get Shelly to come back for several years now, and she finally said yes. And it's been incredible to have her back. You know, she's someone that can speak to these guys as a coach. She can speak to them as a mentor. She can speak to them as a professional basketball player, as someone, you know, that's just been around the game a very long time. And I think it's been really great, especially for our point guards, to have someone with that type of experience and knowledge that can kind of give a different perspective, you know, almost as a new coach. So we love having Sheets as part of our program, and think she's going to really help us in a lot of ways.
Cindy.
Cindy Brunson, Pac-12 Networks. This is for all of you guys. As I have watched you over the years, I feel like Colorado has transformed from a program that hoped to win to one that now expects to win. I think Jaylyn Sherrod has been a big part of that. So Jaylyn, to you and to Quay, what do you think was the turning point for Colorado basketball?
For me, I think, well, personally, I've always been a player, like, I've underdog mentality, and, like, I'm 5'7", but I feel like I walk around like I'm 6'3". Like, that's just always been my mentality. So I feel that just bringing that to the program and having other people around me with that same mentality, I think that was overall the turning point to where, I think Coach Jay said it earlier, but last year, like, we walked into every game like we could beat whoever, and it didn't matter the name across the jersey. The idea was they lace up their shoes the same way we do. We all go to practice. We all put on a uniform, and so why can't we win?
Yeah, to piggyback off what Jaylyn said, I think the turning point for me was just joining a program that expected to win and not it being a hope and it being an expectation, being able to compete at the level that I knew I could compete at, trusting myself and understanding that if I want to elevate my game, I have to approach the game at a more mature standpoint. And I felt that's what Colorado did. And that's what made me, that was my turning point. Just, okay, so this is the only team that could compete with Stanford. And I know that at my last school, I was going into the Stanford's games like, it's about to be a long night. So just coming to Colorado and seeing that they're preparing for Stanford to beat them and like are going to be upset if they don't. And for me, that was just a different, and I've never approached a Stanford game like that until I got here. So I would say that was my turning point, just watching their game in my practice, their overtime game when they beat Stanford.
Can I just share a quick story on what you asked, Cindy? So Jaylyn's freshman year, we opened the season at Oregon, and it was a beat down. I mean, it was not pretty. But it was Jaylyn's first conference game ever, 4 or 5 years ago. And the score was super lopsided. It was awful. And I remember whoever it was, the reporter after the game said to Jaylyn, well, Jaylyn, your first college game, what do you think? And the first thing out of her mouth, she looked at the camera and said, they still have to come through Boulder. And it was like, dang, confidence. But Jaylyn, speaking to that, that's how she's wired. But for the first time, she's surrounded by people who are also wired that way. So it's just, most of you guys probably don't remember that story, but I remember even as her coach being like, hell yeah, they got to come through Boulder. It was like I loved it, and it's fun to have a program of people like that now.
And to all of you, what is the secret sauce when it comes to beating Stanford? I'm sure South Carolina is paying attention right now.
Well, we've only beaten them once, I will say, at Colorado, at least in recent years. But it's always a great game. I think part of it is just between what the two said. Like, we really believe that we can win, and we believe that we will win. And like Quay said, they kind of hoped it wouldn't get out of hand. But we're not afraid of anybody. And I think not that other people are, but just I think that's something that we take a lot of pride in. We prepare to win, no matter who it is, and we try to be strategic in what we think we can do and will do, and let's just hope it's going to be another couple great games this year.
Got time for a few more. Michelle here in the front on the left.
JR, since your team has been part of it, the interconference movement, the 10 players that have moved around this season from one Pac-12 team to another, what do you make of it? What impact do you think that it has? What are your thoughts on all of that movement within the conference?
That's an interesting one. If the conference, I think it's not surprising. I'll start with that. It's not surprising because all of us recruit the same players. So like example, we recruited Quay out of high school. So when Quay went into the transfer portal, we already knew her, like we had a relationship with her. So it made sense, that she might come to a place that she already has an established relationship. I think you could probably say that about all of the players within our conference that transferred. I think our coaches in this league do a really great job of staying above board, being civil, doing things the right way. And so I think we all have a lot of respect for each other. And I'm sure it's a little bit awkward. I don't have any old players here, but I'm sure it's a little bit different for people that are here with other, teams now. But people want to be part of the Conference of Champions. It's named that for a reason, and so it's not surprising that people would want to stay, in the West Coast and stay in this conference.
Go to Kevin over there on the right.
Kevin Dan at Pac-12 Networks. For either Jaylyn or Quay, we've heard a lot about the mentality of this team that you guys expect to win games. But beyond that, with the talent you have around you, what do you like about kind of your teammates and the roster that you guys have that leads you to believe that, all right, we are going to be very competitive. We're going back to the NCAA tournament this year?
I would say that I think we lost a lot, but I think we bring back a lot of experience. Like Coach Jay was saying, Kendall, Frida, Tam, Tay. We bring back a lot of people who played last year. They might not played a lot, but they played. And I think when you have people who already have been in that culture, and they were on the team that got to the tournament as well, so they know what it takes to get there. So I think we bring back a lot of experience. We add freshmen who we've been trying to cultivate them into the program, and they've been doing a great job of that. They take pride in that too. So I think it's just we bring back a lot of experience, and we have like great leaders as well that have set the foundation. So.
Got time for one more? Ann, right here in the middle.
Thanks. Okay, so expectations can be a burden, but it's also pretty cool that now the expectations are a lot higher. It's not a surprise when you guys win a lot of games and who you beat along the way. Please discuss how fun it is to have high expectations and to wear that burden. I think that's cool as heck.
I think that, yeah, I think that is also cool. I think that it holds us accountable to know that we're expected to do so highly of things. And I think that that just does nothing but motivate us and push us to live up to the standards that we're holding for ourselves and others are holding for us. I think that's what this team brings back to a lot. Since we do have a lot of returners and vets, we set the tone. It's all about how we approach practice, how we approach games, how we approach the whole standpoint of all of it, even the school side. And I think that with that, we're able to help each other live up to these standards and hold each other accountable to these high standards.
I love a challenge. I just like it. It's just in my makeup, and I just like challenging myself to be better. And that was one of the reasons, like, I graduated, but one of the reasons I came back was I was telling Coach that I feel like it's a fresh start and it's a new challenge for myself as a leader to grow into being a vocal leader, and just sharing what I've been through at CU with everyone else. So I think for me, I just love a challenge, and I feel like this year it's challenging, but at the same time, I'm just excited to overcome it, and at the end of the day, be like, we did what we said we was gonna do. So.